everyone. My name is Amanda and I am an intuitive tarot reader and Reiki 2 practitioner. I am here today to do a full moon and lunar eclipse reading. I know it is in Libra, so I'm sure anyone with Libra placements are feeling this, but as a collective, I know a lot of us are already feeling the intensities of this full moon. Full moons are about releasing what no longer serves us, and with the lunar eclipse it makes it more intense. And so this is a time to really lean into the releasing and the unknown, and trying to avoid resisting, because lots of times when we resist, especially when the energies are, the momentum is more intense, it can be really uncomfortable with the resistance. Resistance is already uncomfortable, but with the resistance with these intense energies, it's still going to come out either way. The things that are meant to be released are going to be released. Just with your resistance, it's going to be a little bit harder and it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable. And but yeah, it's just going to slow down the process. It's 11:33, so if I know 11 and 33 are really important numbers, you can do 11:33 or you can look up 11:33. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the reading. I'm using the vice versa deck, so it has two sides to it, which helps us get a multiple perspectives. With me being a Reiki practitioner, I also look at colors. I can tell with the cards, if the colors align with certain chakras, I will get intuitive downloads around certain chakras that may be calling for attention. And again, if this does not resonate with you, then it's not for you. This is something that you don't want to force. This is just, we're doing this reading, and if it's something that you feel like it just naturally resonates, that's awesome. And I would love to hear the things that resonate with you, but if they don't worry. It just means that it wasn't meant for you this time around. So we're gonna go ahead and get into shuffling this deck and maybe get some clarity around what to expect with this full moon, and maybe some things that we need to release. All right. So I got the 10 of Swords. You can see on the back as well. And it looks like we actually have a solar eclipse there, so we are entering eclipse season. So it looks like, yeah, and it's interesting because it looks like it's underwater on one side and then in a desert on the other side. I have the 7 of Swords, which is interesting because this actually came up in a reading a couple days ago, so it's very on theme because I'm getting the same messages for the collective when it comes to this. And then I have the Queen of Wands. And so already there's a lot of air energy, there's fire energy as well. So Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius are air signs. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And again, it doesn't have to be your sun sign, it can be any placements, but also it doesn't even have to, you don't even have to have those placements. This can be for anyone. What I'm sensing is with these, it could be a little bit more intense for those with these air signs. But also it's something that's interesting is that with the air, that's been coming up a lot is allowing the wind to carry you. And it's about leaning into the unknown. We live in a society where everything's structured. There's this box, you're told what to do from the moment you're able to really understand. You know, you're supposed to do this, 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 and this is just kind of what the expectations of life are. And we are in the midst of an enlightenment period where I am seeing a lot of people starting to break free of those boxes. And in order to break free of those boxes, a lot of it has to do with facing certain parts of ourselves, dark parts of ourselves, releasing old traumas, old coping mechanisms, and learning healthier coping mechanisms. And this also goes into we are releasing dark parts of ourselves a lot of the time, but it's like really like parts that no longer serve us. But it doesn't mean that we're going to like get rid of those dark parts of ourselves. Like, we're constantly releasing things that no longer serve us if we are willing to release those things. But there's always light and dark everywhere we go. And it's a matter of loving every part of ourselves. And I think lots of times we have a hard time facing our shadows and showing love and tenderness to those parts of ourselves. And this has been a theme that's been coming up a lot lately, where it's like, it's about loving our whole self. We are here to learn how to love every aspect of ourselves. That's how we learn compassion. And the more we focus on loving our whole selves, then we learn to have compassion for others, even if, you know, they tend to have more darkness in their system. And so with the 10 of Swords, I'm already getting you have the desert, which is considered barren, and then you have the water, which I'm hearing the word drowning, and it almost feels like what I'm sensing is some of you feel like you're struggling to keep your head above water. You're hitting a point where you're just, I'm hearing the word exhausted. You're tired of being in the rat race, playing the game. And breaking out of the box almost seems like there's a sense of feeling like you've missed your chance. And you can see they're laying down, the swords are in them. And it's that phrase, and I'm the wording, but it's like coming to me, but the wording is a little bit jumbled. It's like you're giving up before even trying. So it's like you're knocking yourself down while you're already on the ground. And I know that's not the exact phrase, but I know some of you will understand what I'm talking about. It's like you're not even taking the chance. You're not even trying to take the chance to step out of the box and do something that is different from the quote unquote norm. And you're basically just like laying there stuck in this limbo, feeling like you can't move forward. And then with the solar eclipse, it's like the moon is covering the sun. And so, sorry guys, these the downloads are, it's like they're coming in fast, so I'm trying to articulate them. If you're not familiar with the sun and the moon and the energies they hold, the sun holds masculine energy and the moon holds feminine energy. And for a very long time, we've lived in a masculine dominant energetic society world. And, you know, the patriarchy, we can just go with that. And again, but when we say masculine energy, it's not even about men. It's about, the masculine energy is about like go, go, go. It's all mind and logic, and it's about constantly just like going and going and going. It's the ego part of ourselves. And it's this like hustling. It's like constantly hustling, getting the money. Whereas like the moon, the feminine energy, is about like rest and creativity and our intuition and feeling things through. And the thing is you want to balance the two. The sun and moon, the feminine and masculine energy are meant to be balanced in harmony. And we want to have this sense of like knowing when to rest, listening to our bodies, because again, we live in a society where we just go, 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 go until our body practically just knocks us down, and then we're sick and we're out of commission for like a week or two or whatever that may be. And the thing is that creates this disconnection between our mind and body. And so then we don't listen to the early signs and signals of what our body is trying to communicate. So we don't get to the point where our body has to literally shut us down in order to rest. And so it has to do with trying to balance the masculine and feminine energy, the logic with creativity. It's 11:44 now, 44, I've been seeing the number a lot. And so if you guys are seeing more synchronicities as well, this, you know, when you start aligning with your higher self and you start making choices that are for you and for your soul, you're going to see more synchronicities, more signs, whether it's certain types of animals, numbers, maybe even certain songs you keep hearing. That those are ways that spirit and your guides are communicating with you. So with the moon in front of the sun, it's almost like what I'm getting from this is that the moon is trying to step in front of the sun to almost tone down this masculine energy to bring in this creative flow. Because again, like I said, it's like you're knocking yourself down, you're giving up before even trying, and that's all ego. That's your mind telling you like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And it's like, well, let's get curious around why your mind is telling you can't do something. You know, our ego is only operating under what it already knows. And what it knows is things from the past. And it takes things from our past and tries to apply it to our future when we don't even know what that future holds. And not every experience from the past is going to be repeated into the future because we're constantly evolving. So let's say a specific event happened in the past, then your ego, if you try to do that specific event again, your ego is going to be like, well, look at what happened last time. And it's like, but this is a different time and you can choose to approach it a different way and have a new perception, a new outlook. So it's about having the outlook of this creativity of quieting the mind. It's like quiet the mind and feel out what it is that you want to do and take the step forward. Rome wasn't built in a day, and this is where the masculine energy comes in. And it's like it tries to do everything all at once and get the end result, whereas the feminine energy helps us enjoy the journey, the good and the bad of the journey. And so this goes back to, you know, with the feeling like you're drowning. It's like you are not too late. You haven't missed the bus. You haven't missed your chance. Just because you're starting later in life, it doesn't mean that you've missed your chance. And again, some of you may be younger and still feeling this way, but if there are those of you who are out there who've lived a long life and, you know, maybe you're in your like 40s, 50s, 60s, and you just feel like you can still do whatever it is that your heart desires. And if you're not sure what it is that your heart desires, start getting curious around that, because we have all the answers within us. It's just, if we are disconnected from our body and our heart and our intuition, it's just going to take time to get that back online. So it's about trying to reconnect with your body, and ways to help with that is meditation, breath work, you know, slowing down your days. Because really what I'm sensing is we're trying to kind of tone down this masculine energy, because we don't want to get rid of it. We need masculine energy. We need this balance of masculine and feminine energy. But right now it seems like there's a lot of overthinking, a lot of overanalyzing happening in the brain. And when that tends to happen, we get very hyperfixated and kind of go down these rabbit holes, whereas our intuition is trying to communicate something different, but you can't hear it because it's your brain is like loud and it's drowning out that what the intuition is trying to tell you. So it's about accessing this feminine energy, which is creativity, nature, getting out in nature and just existing and being in the quiet, and knowing that you have the power within you to do whatever it is your heart desires. Because again, like with being underwater and feeling like you can't get a breath in, the color blue is associated with the throat chakra, and the throat chakra is speaking your truth. And it's like you're not being honest with yourself about what it is that you want to do. You're lying to yourself by saying, I can't do this, I can't do this, it's too late. You're lying to yourself, because you can do it. It's just about getting uncomfortable and taking those first steps. And with the water and the desert, and like how we say it's barren, it feels like that creativity is offline, but it doesn't mean that the creativity isn't there. It's trying to come through. The energies right now with this full moon and this eclipse are trying to usher in this creative energy and trying to tone down these masculine parts so you're able to access it easier. It's, you know, spirit is on our side with these energies, and so they're a lot more intense during this eclipse season, because we're also about to have a solar eclipse, I believe on the 8th of April. And so with these creative energies flowing in, it might be a little bit easier for you to grab onto it and try to access that part of yourself. So yeah, that's a lot from what I'm getting from this one. And then with the Seven of Swords, a lot of it has to do with, then it's like, because you are you basically like almost like given up before you've tried. And again, and some of you may have started trying. Maybe you've laid down a foundation and you're not where you want to be, and you're feeling like it's not going anywhere. You're not making any progress. You are making progress. Again, this masculine energy, when it is unbalanced and it's kind of washing out this feminine energy, we focus on the end result. And so when we don't get that end result right away, we think that we're failing, and you're not failing. The feminine energy is all about being methodical, moving slowly, like being present in the moment, experiencing the moment, while also learning how to take charge of that moment, but not in an aggressive way where then we wash out the feminine energy. So again, it goes back to, some of you may not have started anything and you feel like you just can't do it. Maybe you've missed your chance. Some of you may have started and you feel like you're not making the progress that maybe you set up expectations for. And that goes back to leaning into the unknown. When we create expectations, almost every time we're going to be let down, because the universe has a different plan for us. It's going to get us to where we want to be, but not in the way that we thought we were gonna, like the way how we thought we were gonna get there. It's not gonna be the same a lot of the time. And so it's about being in the flow. And again, with the water, being in the flow, like move with the wind, you know, let the wind carry you, let the waves carry you. And so with this being said, those of you who either feel like you're not progressing, or you haven't even taken the first step into the unknown of what you may want to do differently with your life, you're kind of collecting all of this information. It's like you're watching other people do the thing that you want to do, and you just keep watching and watching and watching, and then you compare yourself to how they're doing it, and then tell yourself you can't do it. And that's the thing. It's like there are multiples of a lot of different things. Tarot readers, lawyers, doctors, therapists, marine biologists, scientists, you know, but each one of us has our own unique aspect about ourselves. We bring our own unique perspective to the situation. And yes, all these people may be doing that thing, but you also have the ability to do it and to bring something different to the table, because we are all different in different ways. We're going to parallel and things are going to overlap, but again, it's like you're stopping yourself from doing something that you really want to do, and it's like, why not try? And lots of times, even for me personally, there were things that I wanted to do that I tried that ended up not being what it is that I want to do for the rest of my life, but it's helped lead me to the things that I really want to do that I want to do for the rest of my life. But that's the thing, we're constantly evolving. We have to try these new things, because then they're going to it's these stepping stones are going to keep bringing us to different parts. We're not meant to just be doing one thing our entire life. We're meant to be evolving and doing a lot of different things. So it takes that first step to learn, like, everything is temporary. Everything, it's not permanent. And so when we go into taking the first step into the unknown, it's about learning that, like, being in the flow and leaning into the unknown is a beautiful thing, because you're allowing the universe, like, you're just allowing things to naturally fall into place. And so it's like, you may have had a job that then led you to another job that's completely different from that one, and then at one point I wanted to open my own coffee shop, and now where I am, I look back and I'm like, I'm not saying that's a no, but I love working with coffee, but that might end up being more of just like a hobby that I enjoy doing, because now I'm on this spiritual journey of wanting to, you know, do Reiki and tarot reading and connect with people in a different way. And so it's knowing that when you continue to step out of your comfort zone, you will find a lot of different interests and learn more about yourself and what it is that you love. So with the Seven of Swords, it's like you're collecting all of this information in the sense of just like watching others do this, and then you compare yourself to it. And I heard this when I had this card for a different reading, it's like you're lurking in the night. You're just like in the shadows, just watching others do it. And almost, I feel like I'm hearing the word like resentment. Like, it's almost like this resentment is building up because you've told yourself you can't do it, or you haven't gotten to the place that others have gotten. Like, you're looking at more successful people and it's like, they weren't successful the entire time. It's like, you have to start small and allow it to build and get bigger. And if it's something that you truly love and you're in it for the right reasons, it's never going to fail. If you're in it for just, you know, the financial aspect, it's not going to, there's just going to be certain aspects that aren't going to align with you. But if you listen to what it is that your heart wants, then it's you're going to align more with your higher self. So it's really about like knowing the strength that you have to step in the unknown, into the unknown. It is really scary, but it's extremely rewarding. And so instead of trying to collect all this data on what others are doing and how they're doing it, try doing it the way that feels natural to you. Don't force it into another box, essentially. You know, you already feel like you're in a box and you want to break out of that box, but then you're comparing yourselves to others who are doing it a certain way, and then you might force yourself to do it that way. And it's like, do it the way that feels most comfortable for you. It's different for a reason. Just because you might not see others doing it the way you want to do it doesn't make it wrong. There's no right or wrong. And so then we have the Queen of Wands, which this is the fire energy. And it's like, you can see the roots. She's sitting on like this rooted throne, pretty much, this chair. And what I love about this card is there's so much green, and then she's also wearing red. So very much heart and root chakra. And so this goes back to heart chakra, following your heart, listening to what your heart wants. Root chakra has to do with safety and security. So that can do with like home life, financial stability. It can also have things to do with like our childhood. We tend to store a lot of trauma in our root, childhood trauma in our root chakra. And so this one feels very like Mother Earth. And you even have the statue in the back, which just feels very ancient. And it's like we're trying to connect back with our ancient roots. It's connecting with the earth, like trusting in the collective, trusting in the energies that are surrounding us. Mother Earth is here to protect us. It is our home and is trying to take care of us. And so with the root and heart chakra, lots of times we enter into certain situations because of what others tell, like how like society tells us to go into those things. And so, for example, a career, because this one feels centered around career, because of the downloads I'm getting, but it could still be around other things. So don't write that off. But what I'm getting is that let's say you wanted to, you're a lawyer and you make a lot of money. You make a really good amount of money. You're financially stable. You're doing what you thought you wanted to always do. And then now you're realizing being a lawyer doesn't fulfill you, fulfill your heart, fulfill your soul. And so now you're starting to question things. But the things that you love doing, whether it's like maybe a hobby or it's something that you love from afar and you haven't even tried, there's this thought process that if you were to try and make that a career or a job, that you won't make as much money and it won't sustain you and your life, family, whatever it may be. And allowing that fear to overtake will then produce those results. If you go in trusting that you're going to be taken care of financially, and know that like you still might have to make cuts on certain things that you spend, you will make less money than the job you're already in. But it's about knowing that you're doing something you love, and still you might build up to making just as much or more, because really it's about abundance. Abundance isn't just about money. Abundance is about how we view the world. If you just sit where you are right now and you look around, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food in your pantry? Do you have running water? Do you have a toilet? Like, we have everything we need. Then there's extras that we like to buy. And so it's a matter of, are you willing to look at the world with a new perception, a new mindset of like, I have everything I need. I have clothes on my back. I have a roof over my head. And really, all I need is to sustain myself with these monthly bills, and then the rest I can just, almost like I'm hearing, cut the fat. Because if you truly want to do what it is you love, you are going to be rewarded with abundance and a happier life, and you're going to be following what it is that your soul wants you to do. And so it's like this fear around stability, and that's the thing, it's like when you take yourself out of, when you break yourself out of this box that has a lot of rules and restriction, you are gonna be unstable. You uprooted yourself. You're gonna feel like you're in this chaos, and you're gonna be like, what did I do? But you have to pull the roots out to then move to a different spot and then reroot yourself in order to grow in a new way. And so, like, lots of times in Reiki, even with the Reiki master that I work with, but then I've also seen it in sessions that I've done on other people, is like, I'll see like a whole new root system. I've had my Reiki master see a whole new root system with me when I started changing my way of thinking and my mindset and like following what it is that I love. It feels chaotic and there's going to be a lot of challenges, but those challenges are meant to teach you things along the way. So throughout the journey, it's like all gratitude. You learn to be grateful for everything, even like pain. You know, last year I had health stuff going on, and it was the hardest year of my entire life, and it was really hard at first. I was very much in victim mode. I was very much like, why is this happening to me? And it's such a beautiful thing because it finally clicked as to why it was happening. And I look back and I'm like, if this would have happened years ago, I don't think I would have been able to withstand it. But with all the growth that I had done, I was able to change my mindset, change my way of thinking, and realize that pain is a blessing because it's a way that your body and soul are trying to communicate to you of what's not working. So you can start honoring yourself and loving yourself. And I'm getting that boundaries are extremely important around this eclipse season. So if you are feeling like others are stepping on your toes, or if you're just feeling like they're agitated about things, and again, agitated can be positive or negative, because agitated can mean that like you're ready to, it's like light a fire within you to do things, to make these choices. And I feel like this full moon is going to light that fire within a lot of you to want to make those first steps or continue to push forward on the steps that you've already made. And it's the agitation is around, it can be helpful, but it can also be detrimental. And so if you're feeling agitated, set those boundaries with those in your life. And if those aren't honoring it, then maybe it might be a part of the release process of maybe certain people won't be a part of this next chapter in your journey. And with the green, it just goes back to following your heart, figuring out what it is that you feel called to do, and following that part, because, you know, we have all these roots and what she's sitting on, and she looks, if you get a little bit closer look, she looks serene, like she's in her element. And it's about finding what your element is and being in your element. And right now you don't feel like you're in your element, but in order to get into your element, you are going to have to go through lessons and challenges, but also beautiful moments. It helps you realize how grateful you are about life and how short life is, and what you can do, what you're capable of. We're all capable of truly anything, and manifesting whatever it is that we want out of life. And so following your heart is extremely important, because it's like, it will bring the abundance, it will bring that stability. You may not feel stable at first, but it will bring that stability that you've been wanting for a very long time. It's just the stability you have right now is not something that's connected to your heart. And it's more of like what others have been telling you, and now you're realizing, like, you're getting more curious around, like, what is it that you want that other people aren't trying to tell you. So it's really about, like, stop getting in your own way, because you are able to, no one else is stopping you. Lots of times we say, well, I can't do it because of this and because of this, and it's like, those are just excuses. You can choose to just make the choice to do what it is you want, and learn how to navigate the chaos that comes with it, because that chaos is going to eventually become a place of peace. And again, it goes back to, like, I keep hearing, and I don't know if I said it earlier, weathering the storm. It's about learning how to stay grounded during the chaos and how to move with it. And it's like I see a tornado. Tornadoes keep coming up too, but it's just like, I almost see it's like as if you're standing in the funnel of a tornado, in the eye of a tornado, and it just, like, it's going around you, but you're just there, and you're just, like, in a place of peace. And so let's I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start shuffling my spell casting, see if we can get a little bit more clarity on this. That was a lot of information though. It was coming through quickly. I was trying to keep up. So yeah, so this goes back to, where did that go? Happiness. And so it really is about just, I think we allow fear to take over and doubt, because we're so scared that we're not going to get to the place that we want to, you know, that we think is going to bring us happiness. And excuse me, if we continue to give into that fear, we won't be happy. Even if you were to take steps into the unknown, but you continue to allow fear to kind of overtake you, it is going to be hard to be happy. And again, that, like, from personal experience, I've gone through many growth. I've been on my spiritual growth journey for 4 years now, and there have been many times where I feel like I got knocked down and my fear got in the way, or I allowed my fear to get in the way, and then I would just pretty much complain of, like, I'm not where I want to be, and this isn't. And it's like, instead of focusing on where we're not, focus on where we are, and look where we came from. You came so far, and we create the happiness. Happiness doesn't just happen. We create the happiness. So going back to last year, when I'm dealing with these health issues, I allowed it to hinder me completely. I crumbled under it. And then once I started to change my mindset, I moved my body more. I would have dance parties. I would bring joy into my home even when I was feeling awful. And it's having to push through that yucky, dense, dark energy to then bring that joy into the world, into your world, into your atmosphere. And the more dance parties that I had, the more music that I listened to, the more self-care that I did, of whether it was just sitting outside with the trees or taking baths or whatever it is that makes you happy and brings you peace and joy. When you are feeling like you are at your lowest of the low, that is when bringing joy is going to help get you out of it. Even when you're just sitting there like, no, like, F that, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't feel like doing it. It's like, you're not gonna feel like doing it. You can't just wait around until you feel like doing it. Sometimes you have to push yourself to do it. Because then once you're in it, you're like, oh, this feels good. How many times have you were meant to go work out and you really didn't want to go? And you just kept pushing it off. And you're like, I'll just go when I feel like it. But lots of times, the more we push it off, the more we don't feel like going. How many times have you not wanted to go, pushed yourself to go, and it ended up being like you ended up being happy that you went? It's about bringing that happiness and joy into your life, because it's not something that just happens. You have to work at it. You have to be mindful. You have to work hard at bringing that happiness in. And I keep hearing the word bloom, and it's like, we are in spring. We just had spring equinox, but it also goes to, it's like, allow yourself to bloom. And I read something actually yesterday, and it really resonated with me. So I'm wondering if it'll resonate with any of you, but it really has to do with, it said, give yourself permission to shine bright. And it is truly wild how we can feel defeated before even taking a step in a direction that we want to go. And it goes back to, we are the ones standing in our own way. And when we don't shine bright, we don't allow our light to shine, it's because we're not giving ourselves permission to shine. We are all meant to shine bright. We are all meant to be big and amazing and wonderful and bring joy into this world. And just know that you are capable of that. I believe in you. And it's about, anyone can believe in you, but it's about you believing in yourself. And so let's see if I can get another one. If not, then I'm going to switch to my other deck, which is For the Love of Dragons. I actually just got this deck, and it's fairies and dragons, and it's such a beautiful deck. And so I might want to get a card from there, see if there's any more clarity, if Spirit wants to give us any more information or clarity around this new moon and lunar eclipse, anything around moving forward. Baby steps. Just know that it takes baby steps. Stop trying to take these large steps. The journey is the most important part. It's not the end result, it's the journey. Because if you didn't enjoy the journey, you wouldn't even be able to enjoy the end result as much as you want to. That one was trying to come out. Love. And so this goes back into loving yourself, loving all aspects of yourself, loving the dark and the light parts of yourself. Those dark parts of yourself are looking for tenderness and attention. And when you start to love every part of yourself, you start to let go of how other people love you, situations. When you start to see your own value. If other people are telling you you can't do something, I've been hearing this a lot lately, and I've been seeing it a lot, and I don't know who said it, but it's like, if you wouldn't take their advice, why would you accept their criticism? So it's like, loving yourself is the most important thing. And when you love yourself most, you also attract others who are going to be on the same frequency. And loving yourself is by honoring yourself and what it is that you want to do and what you feel like your life path is. And that is like all of this that we're talking about, doing what it is that you want to do, that you feel called to, that you keep stopping yourself from. You're not loving yourself through this. You're stopping yourself from being who you could be, who you're meant to be, what your soul came here to do. And so when you start to love yourself more, you start to see your value and what it is that you are meant to do. And it is, you start to not worry about the world behind you. I was saying to give yourself some those dark parts, your tenderness. And so we got the tender, and it's the number 40. So definitely look up the number 40. And so because this is a new deck, I am going to pull out the book and read a little bit about it. But before I do that, what I'm already getting is it, because you can see she's on a mushroom and it looks like she's connecting with her dragon. And it just feels very much like dragons are mysterious, and it's like you never know what temperament you're gonna get from them because they're like chaotic. Sometimes they'll be, loving towards you, sometimes they won't. And it's as if the dragon is her shadow self, and she's showing love and tenderness to it. And just, she's also in nature, she's on this little mushroom, and it feels like there's just a lot of love and connection going on, and it's gentleness. It's like slowing down and just like really just like being in your body and just feeling every part of your body. Like wiggle your toes, move your feet, like wiggle your fingers. It's like really trying to connect with every part of your body. And so let's see what the tender. Sometimes looking into the eyes of a beloved helps us see ourselves more clearly. Our children, our pets, our most cherished beloveds tend to get our best affections while we treat ourselves with less consideration and less worth. Your beloveds are a mirror for you. How will you stroke them, tend them, care and nurture and praise them? This is how you deserve to be treated too. It's in your best interest to be very tender with yourself, for you are unique in all the world. like your child, your cat, your dog, your horse, your bird, your fish, your dragon. One-of-a-kind creations deserve the most gracious attention. You are a walking, talking, breathing miracle. Handle with care. And that just makes me want to cry, because it's just like, we do tend to give others the love that we deserve ourselves. And we really are in a season where more and more people are learning to put themselves first. And putting yourself first doesn't mean that you don't care about others, or that you have to be rude to others. There is still a way to set boundaries with love and compassion and understanding. And there is a way to put yourself first without being selfish in a way that's harming others. If other people are not happy with your boundaries, that's something to get curious around, because it really is about honoring yourself. And if the people who are in your life truly and utterly love you, they are going to honor your boundaries. And so the love that you give to others around you in the outside world, I'm also seeing plants, like some of you plant lovers out there, if you're, giving love to your plants, it's like, give some of that love to yourself. You're so extremely deserving of it. You are so valuable and so worthy. And this full moon is going to really help you release these parts of yourself that feels centered around worthiness, around just the parts that feel like you're not worthy. It's about releasing that so you can make space for the new and move forward while believing in yourself. There's always going to be moments of doubt, but it's a matter of how you handle those moments of doubt and fear, of becoming a witness and just watching them, but also just like letting it kind of like float by, of like, oop, there's this fear, there's this doubt, but I'm still going to continue to move forward. It's how you move in the world with that fear and doubt. Not let it hinder you, not keep you in place, but acknowledge it and then continue moving forward and being fearless and truly and utterly loving yourself. So yeah, this is the reading for March 25th, or we have the full moon tomorrow morning. I'm doing this on the 24th, but be gentle with yourself. Give love to all parts of yourself. And if you are feeling like you need more clarity, or just want a different reading around something else in your life, I do offer one-on-one private sessions. I will link my email below if you want to email for any sessions in the future. All right, bye guys.